Hey everyone, let's talk about Star Wars. Of course, we're here to talk about Mandalorian, Season 2, Episode 2, The Passenger. First, of course, like how I always do this, we'll be going over my brief thoughts, and then we'll get into some spoiler territory. So, briefly, this episode takes place right after the previous episode. Mando is trying to get back to Mos Eisley on his speeder bike, runs into some trouble, and circumstances force Mando to take a frog alien lady and her jar of eggs on his ship on a flight to another planet without the use of hyperspace. This, of course, leads to complications, because why would it not? Otherwise, we wouldn't have an episode. And they end up crash landing on a frozen planet with some pretty crazy stuff going on. Overall, this was essentially a filler episode just to get Mando to a new planet in order to find his next clue for where the Mandalorians are so he can get information to find out where the child's homeworld is. It was fine for what it was. I really did like the end a lot. Overall, it just kind of felt like, okay, we're going to just need some fillers here and there. And I like filler. Don't get me wrong, my favorite episode of Season 1 is filler. And it actually ties into this episode. We'll get into that in the spoilers. But overall, not quite as exciting as episode 1 of the season was, but not a bad outing at all. Especially if that ending gets completely crazy and features an alien that I'm like, nope, I want none of that in my life. Thank you very much. So if you haven't seen it yet, go watch it. You won't be disappointed. It's a fun episode. It's a nice little filler, and even though you're not getting any kind of progress on the lore, you are at least having a fun adventure with Mando and weird frog alien. Which people have seen it already? Or people who don't care about spoilers? Cool. Spoiler time. So on the opening speeder bike, Mando gets attacked by some bounty hunter types who are looking for the child. And he even has to have a little showdown with a Jawa. And Mando keeps running into problems with Jawas. And they're everywhere. But, of course, Jawas on Tanui is a more or less a standard kind of thing. They're one of the first aliens you see on Tanui. Actually, that might be the first alien you see on Tanui in the original movie. The fight was pretty decent. It's more fun when he trades his jetpack to the Jawa and then, launches the Jawa into the sky via a remote control. That was a lot of fun. And just seeing the Mandalorian carry everything on his back as he walks back into Mos Eisley was a pretty cool sight. Nice to have the mechanic back again. She's the one who helps facilitate the deal between Mando and the Frog Lady. And the Frog Lady, I don't remember her race from anything. If that race showed up in Clone Wars, coolsies, the closest we've been able to come up with is kind of the weird frog priestesses on Luke's Island in the sequel trilogy, but I don't know if they're the same race. They look like different types of frogs, but who knows? There's different colored Wookiees. They're not all the same color. I mean, I got it. There are different types of Twi'leks, as we've seen, like the pale-skinned Twi'lek, the blue Twi'leks, things like that. So, but they're both still Twi'leks. So maybe we have bullfrog and like more traditional tree frog looking. I don't know. Not going to take the time to look up that lore. I feel that's not super pertinent to the story. So what we have on the ship is the child trying to eat all the eggs, which made my brother go, yes! And I'm like, stop rooting for the puppets to eat the eggs, please. Because it was so horrible. Like, this poor frog lady's like, these are my only chance to have babies. And baby child just put his hand in and go, nom, nom, nom. Eggs. It's like, oh, God. It makes for, like, really dark humor if you're into dark humor. There was a few things that got to me. One of the things the frog lady ended up doing at one point is rewiring the droid from the episode from the first season, The Prisoner, where there's the droid and they're all going to go rescue the one guy out of jail. Mando left the droid's broken carcass on his ship. I would toss that out the airlock the second I had the chance. That droid tried to kidnap the child and basically abandoned everyone on the team. And you're just leaving his robot body just like there on your floor? Could you sweep at least once, dude? Also, didn't you just bring it in for maintenance at Mos Eisley? Why did the mechanic lady and her droids not go, hey, there's a broken droid in there. You want us to just trash that? So I'm just saying someone should have, I don't know, it seems weird to me. It worked fine so the Frog Lady could use it as a translator, as an intermediary, so they could actually have a conversation. But it just seemed weird to me that he kept it on there, because I'm like, he hates droids, and that, droid obviously betrayed the team. So, I don't know. We also see some X-Wings. Essentially, the reason why he crash lands on the planet is because he gets scanned, and they're going, hey, we're not getting a proper ID here. Who are you? And he tries to bluff his way through it, and they're like, oh, it says your ship was spotted near one of our rebel prisoner transport ships, and one of the prisoners went missing. And chase scene goes forward. Crash landing on the ice planet's great. I know a lot of people saw it in the trailer and like, oh, is that Hoth? And I'm like, there's no way he's going to Hoth. It is a planet that I don't know what it is. If it is listed in further lore, coolsies. It doesn't, again, not pertinent to the main story. What is pertinent is while they go there, they not only find a little hot springs, just nice for a little respite from the repairing of the ship and the arguing, but they also find other eggs that, of course, hatch, and they have little space spider monster things. And of course, they have a mom who's freaking giant, huge spider monster thing. And I, at that point, was like, nope, I'm out. Nope, no, not for me. Nope, I'm going back in the ship. Bye. A great choice. I mean, when you really want that monster that'll freak everyone out, giant spider works really, really well. Even when I ran a D&D game, I had much more threatening creatures on the board. But one of the things I put on there was a giant wolf spider, because I knew the entire party, outside of one member, would react by, nope, no giant spiders, nope, not doing that. And immediately went for the spider instead of the more threatening enemies. So remember that if you're a DM or anything like that. People will freak out from the giant spider. I'm one of them. Not messing with giant spiders. No, thank you. He does get saved at the end. The ship's still heavily damaged, but pretty cool episode overall. Not a lot of tie-in lore to previous things that I can think of, but the giant spider attack really reminded me of something they would do in a Clone Wars episode, especially like the zombie episode, if people remember that from season 1, season 2, whatever it was, a Clone Wars, that zombie episode. I always like when they do stuff like that, where they really play around with the CG in a cool way. And those spider things were pretty freaky, and Mando's just blasting them and chucking bombs and just trying to survive that. It was also kind of cool to just see the consequences of the events of The Prisoner play out, where not only is Mando in trouble for having to help with that breakout, but also the fact they do reference that 3 priority targets were found in the jail cells because he didn't actually kill the people. He threw them in the jail cells, and he tried to protect the rebel soldier. So because of that, you really do have little things tying in from the past. That was a filler episode that essentially influences the events of another filler episode. I really did like that. I thought that was clever reusing that, because I knew that'd have to come back sooner or later. Sooner or later, you can't just you can't just break someone out of jail and not have that have consequences later on. I just didn't think it was going to happen the way it did. I was like, oh, okay, it's fun usage of it. Probably come up again, I'm sure. And this might be the start of him getting more contacts inside the New Republic, which could be interesting for some future story possibilities, especially because then we could learn a bit more about what the New Republic is like in this era. Other than that, like I said, I did enjoy it. I think a little bit less than the first episode, mainly because the first episode had all that lore stuff with the Great Dragon and the Sand Pearl and the Marshal. And this one just kind of had Frog Lady and giant spiders. But you need these kind of episodes to kind of move things forward. I'm sure everyone he's kind of meeting is going to pay off, because that seems to be the way the series goes. If you meet a character, they will return. The mechanic has returned a couple times. Cara Dune, of course, is going to show up again. We know that's just going to happen. So I'm sure the Marshal is going to show up again. Just get Timothy Oliphant for a one-off. He's coming back. So probably the Frog people are not only going to pay off in the next episode when he gets the information, but may even have some sort of further usage down in the season. We might learn more about the race and the importance of their race. So it's kind of cool to see that kind of happening. Also, if the Razor Crest taking as much damage as it's taken, it might even go into an arc of him having to either get some major overhaul on the Razor Crest, or possibly even replace his ship, which would be kind of interesting for them to do, because that allows for, well, one, new merchandising opportunity, but two, it allows each season to kind of have its own look and feel. He's upgraded his armor throughout season one, so upgrading the ships in season two would be kind of a nice visual thing to do, because he can't go to the armorer and have new gear made at this point until we find out what the fate of the armorer is, which I assume the armorer survived. He's either going to have to go back to Navarra to find her, or he's going to run into her on another planet when he finds a new enclave. Who knows? There's some exciting possibilities for the future. Like I said, this episode is pretty good. Looking forward to the next one. I mean, this is becoming family viewing for my little family that I have, so that's always cool when everyone can get together and sit around the TV and enjoy something together. And from all things, it's freaking Star Wars related. Who would have guessed? And yeah, if you haven't seen it, go see it. If you have seen it, let me know what you thought about the episode in the comments. Do you agree with me? Do you think it was okay, or do you think it was amazing, or did you hate it? Let me know. If you have the chance, please like and subscribe. It takes only a few seconds and really helps small channels like mine. Until next time, remember, this is the way.